What up, what up? How's it going? I have a live stream, simul streaming to the YouTube page right now, as well as my Instagram. So I'm going to try to keep both chats up here so I can monitor everybody. Let me set up the chat for YouTube. And then I'll prop the chat up on my phone for Insta. Thank you for hanging out. This is pretty cool. Let's see. All right, sick. All right, so we're good there. Let's see. Oh, you be quiet. So I already saw somebody mention Poland as a place they'd like me to talk about. Poland is a weird one. It's kind of funky because I didn't have the best experience there, but that's okay. Jay Coobers. But that's okay. We can talk about that. Let me see if I have, if I could pull footage right now. Can I pull? No, I can't do that. Okay, I'll just leave that up there. All right, so let's come into my CapCut here. I'm using CapCut to edit my videos. It's not necessarily the best software in the world, but it's definitely modern and definitely something. I picked it. I did video editing years ago, back when I was doing like band stuff. But where's Poland here? Here we go. I did it back when I was in bands and whatnot, and got a handle on it, got a hang of it. But back then the software was completely different than what they have now. So I decided, okay, well, let me just grab something and see what's out there. So I started with CapCut because it's a pretty famous or pretty popular video editing software. And I am familiar with using like graphics editing softwares, and a lot of times the entry level stuff has some good features that you can use, but it's limited in the scope of like 100% professional video editing. Having said that though, there's always something that you can, use. It's always user friendly. So I picked out CapCut, and then I found out that they actually, in the full unlocked paid version, have a lot of tools, and it's pretty impressive. So let me try to maximize this so you guys can see what's going on here, and let's just scrub some footage really quick. And then if you have any particular questions, toss them my way. I'll talk about what we're looking at here. So this is just going to go through some clips that we shot while we were over there. There's still audio connected to these, so if it gets weird, that's fine. This is a church in Poland, in the city of Częstochowa, and it's home to a famous piece of art that is called the Black Madonna. It's like a painting of Madonna and Child, but it was so poorly deteriorated over time that basically it kind of turned black. At least that's my art history understanding of the piece. There is a chance that it was originally painted that way, but I highly doubt it. Normally years of soot from candles burning in churches really damage these paintings quite a bit. As far as a little bit of who I am and what I got going on, I did go to school for art history, but I also dropped out of school for art history. So I have some answers and some is complete bullshit, but I'll make sure to identify which is which when we're talking to each other. Let me pull up my chat over here. All right. Okay, so I just relaunched my Instagram chat over here. Coobers, what have you heard of before? You've heard of the Madonna or the church? This church is actually a source of like pilgrimage for people, and it's one of those like trekking pilgrimages where people will like literally walk across the world to get to it type thing. I feel like on my vertical split right now is just sharing my that's interesting. Okay, well, I'll let that slide. There's some footage in here from, so at this point we're in a new city called Włocławek. And Włocławek is where my family comes from. This is why we chose Poland to begin with, was because it was a place where we had family history. we found the church that my great great grandparents were married in, and then they have this tiny little museum with these artifacts that you're seeing right now. Um, and unfortunately, there were some errors with the filming, the frame rate with the LED lights, but I'll fix that before it actually gets edited down for the video for episode release. A lot of cool stuff here. My last name is Kowaleski, and the city of Koval was directly adjacent to Vosklevac, which makes me think that Koval is probably where we came from specifically. But Koval is like a blacksmith. That's the history of the name. So you'll see like a lot of tools in this museum and a lot of evidence in this museum that's alluding to blacksmithing or just like forging or really like just straight up I don't know, like craftsman type tools. So it makes sense I'm a tattooer. A lot of the places that we went to, I was trying to find any evidence at all of tattoo materials, which is nearly impossible to find, but it is what it is. Cool. Oh, okay. So Coopers, did you forgive me, did you do art history as well? It's awesome. That's why I initially suggested Malta. That's where my family's from. Lots of history there. So we are Polish Maltese, and Malta is a place that I have not been yet, but I'm going to go to Malta, and we will film while we're there. But Malta is another portion of our family history deep dive that we're doing. The only reason I haven't gone there yet, because it was always accessible, is because we're trying to plan a larger family trip where all the brothers can go too, not just my nuclear family, but also older brother and other brothers. It's a complicated story, but there's 4 of us total, but we always wanted to go. It's a small island. Malta's really tiny, so I'm sure there's a lot of relation going on there. The family story, and I choose to believe it, is that we are descendants of the Don. My great uncle is like a Don figure of the Maltese Mafia, and that's going to definitely be part of our research when we try to get out that way. So yeah, this is a lot of just the raw footage from Poland. This is still in Vosklevac here. This is the church that my great-great-grandparents got married in. All of this, so that everybody's aware, this is my first live streaming video, so I just want to make sure that everybody understands what this project is. There's my screaming kid. That happened the entire trip. All of this is to be edited down into tattoo travel materials. Me exploring the world, following my tattoo machine, and seeing where it takes me and what I can learn while I'm out in the rest of the world. So that's what this footage is for. And that's why I'm scrubbing today, is to go through. Look at this emaciated Jesus. This dude is... That's a brutal Christ. There's some... That's a really graphic. And then you just got severed heads on the wall. Pretty rad. This place is cool. I mean, I see Coopers. It's hilarious. My cousins and I always joke that we were in the Maltese Mafia. I mean, there's only like 14 people from Malta, so we probably all were in some way, shape, or form. But if you were to research my grandmother's maiden name, it's the name. So, excuse me, I'm fairly certain the stories are true. Apparently, my grandpa's funeral, men in tuxedos with their hands in their double-breasted tuxedos showed up to pay respects and say things like, if there's anything you ever need, you just come back to the old country, we'll get you, that type of thing. So could be the case, who's to say. It's kind of funny watching like B-roll footage like this, where it's like there's so much like shit that has to be cut to make it usable for travel video, but it is kind of cool to see like the raw things that I was interested in looking at. The whole thing, the whole European jaunt was like such a blur for us because it went so quick. We did, before we went over to explore Europe, we did a month in Costa Rica, and then we did a month in Mexico. But then in the course of 6 weeks, we did all the rest of those European countries I listed. So it is 100% like boom, 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 which isn't really the best way to travel, but we at least spent a week in all the places that we went to, and I think that's enough time to do it some kind of justice, some kind of. I gotta be really careful about showing my kids' faces on these videos. Maybe I should curate what I'm gonna live stream next time. So we did get to see a lot of cool stuff, but also
right now we're standing in front of the church.
it was a little hard to pause this really quick. It was a little hard to take it all in. All right, there's a bunch of rando stuff there. Let's keep scrubbing. Let's take a look at what we got up here. Kubers are, the name is GATT, G-A-T-T. All right, so now we're gonna get here into some raw footage of the tattoo studios I went to and the interviews I did there. And I don't think I should really be showing all of this just yet because it's not edited down, and I don't want to betray the trust of the tattooers I was working with or that we were interviewing. So let me go ahead and skip over some of the actual interview footage, and we can just keep showing this B-roll stuff here. I'll just keep that queued up so we can leave. This place is awesome. It was like a 2-story tattoo studio this is in Wrocław. No, Krakow, sorry. We were in Krakow. And it was the biggest, most gorgeous tattoo studio I've ever been in, frankly. Massive, tons of booths. Later on, if I get the release form back and he approves it, I'll release some video footage of me interviewing a pretty famous tattooer who works there. But it was rad, man. It was a really cool place. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to skip a lot of that footage for right now. This tattoo studio, this gorgeous, amazing Polish temple of auteurs, is connected to a department store that is like the oldest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. This looks like a thrift store. It's like it's pretty ridiculous. And it's like for old people. And I don't mean like old people like, ew, you're 58, you're older than me. Like old people, like people who are like in their 70s and 80s who are stuck in that era. It is the place for you. Let's see what else I got. Oh, I got some food here. What was this? This was... Oh, man, I really should have taken notes. I actually might have taken notes, to be honest. I might have taken a photograph of the menu, but it's not going to be in the scrub footage because it's just like a still shot on my camera. But this is definitely some sort of fish, but it was at like a steak place in Krakow. Let me skip past a lot of this because that's all interview. This is going to be like hours now. So basically what it was is we would go to each location, we would film a ton of B-roll and then film our interviews with tattooers, and it was just bananas. Just, you know, it'd be like spend a few days filming everything you could think of and then interview some tattooers and do a piece on the tattoo studio, and that was like single sections that were like hours worth of work. All right, what do we got back here? It's me hanging out with my kid. Here's an insane ice cream cone. Come on, look how delicious that is.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. What else we got? This is in Częstochowa. It's that same the same church from earlier that held the Black Madonna. What did you say, Coopers? We've met before, by the way. You fixed tattoo on my wrist at Chroma years ago. I need to get into Box 5 at some point. I could practically walk there from my house. Yeah, that's cool. Definitely bookings are back up, so it's kind of hard to catch a walk in, but we have arcade games. You can just literally walk up and hang out and remind me who we are and what tattoo I did for you, and then play some Mortal Kombat or something, and then book a tattoo appointment. It's pretty rad. What else do I have here to show off from Poland? So like I said, Poland was a little tricky. I did some confessionals here that I'll get into after I do the video scrub, or after I do the editing for the episode. But in these videos, like, I kind of just look down the barrel, the product placement. I just kind of look down the barrel and express my like displeasement. Nothing against Poland in general. They didn't do anything wrong, but it just wasn't what I was hoping for. As far as visiting the homeland, like, you can't manufacture awe. I've always said this, but also, like, I expected to feel a little bit more of a something out of it. A little bit more of like, oh yeah, awesome. This is where I'm meant to be. This is, where we come from. I didn't really get much of that. But again, no fault to Poland. It was, there's beautiful, luminous people where we went. It just wasn't, it was also like the tail end of a third of the year traveling, and knowing that we only had a few days left before heading back to the United States for 6 months, it was very easy to identify with the end of the trip, if that makes sense. So like, okay, like, I just gotta get through this last country type thing. But when I get the narrative written out for what this episode actually is, this will probably have some more meaning, these little clips right here. Let's open up another file. Let's see some other places we went to. All right, so we could talk Mexico, we could talk Costa Rica. I got France, Greece. Spain is right here. I must have created files for Italy and Egypt already. Maybe I didn't dump them in yet. Oh yeah, Egypt and Italy right there. Let's see, let's jump into Italy. Let's see what kind of footage I have for Italy. I don't know, because I'm new to this whole live streaming world. I don't know if people would be interested in watching the actual physical product of editing, chopping, comping, and putting together these episodes, or if it's more interesting to just chat about what we saw while we were there. So you can sound off in the comments if you want. It looks like Coobers, you're the only dude like really hanging out with me right now. So if you have an opinion on that, that would be nice to know. Mexico is cool. I've been to Monterrey and it was gorgeous. I've not been to Monterrey. Let me look on my map really quick and see where Monterrey is. Oh, okay, so it's Gulf of, I'm not going to say America, the Gulf of Mexico. And it's right up like the south border, just south of Texas. So that's pretty rad. I'm sorry I may have missed it, but where do I find the vids? So there aren't videos available, but if I go back to my homepage here on my video editing software, there's just a ton of files from different places that we've been to. So right now I got Italy, Poland, Mexico, Paris, Greece, Egypt, Spain, Costa Rica. And like I said, we could scrub footage, or we could just talk tattoo stories from while I was in these places. Italy, we did a few different places. We intended to go to Pisa for the bulk of our time, well, for 50% of our time there. But the city that we stayed in that is connected to part of the Tuscany region with Pisa was called Barga. And Barga turned out to be fascinating, and I would love to go back for an extended period of time, especially for some time not working on producing TV, but going and just like maybe spend a month there just living. It was pretty cool. It is not for the faint-hearted because it's very hilly and it's very, very old. It's a medieval city up in the mountains, so the amount of walking uphill is insane. I have a couple videos I can show here of the the pitch of some of these roads. It was unbelievable. And the only way you can really tell, let me find some of that footage. The only way you could really tell how steep these things are in camera, because nothing ever like really translates to camera, is if you look at the horizontal lines of like the windows and the doors, you'll see how unbelievably steep the roads or the streets are. A lot of this is my Venice footage though. This is all Venice. Maybe I gotta reload some stuff from Barga still. Unless I skimmed it all already. No, I don't see any stupid steep stuff in here. Okay, that's fine. I'll pull it out later. Check it out next time. I did find wild goats. These dudes are pretty rad. Just chilling in the squares. Where will they be once you edit the episodes? I like tattoo stories. So the show's being produced for YouTube, where we're live streaming currently, simultaneous to Instagram. If you do a search for St. Carlos Travels, I think that's where you'll find it, or just do because that's my page, or do a search for the Global Canvas with St. Carlos. That's the name of our show, and it's a little accessible. It's a little more hokey and a little bit more campy of a title than I would ever choose for myself, but we want to make sure that it's appealing to the masses. So we will make some concessions and do some silliness if we have to. All right, that's enough goat ass. Let's see what else we got in here. Tattooing is fun. I'm going to save the story about the Venice tattooing, though, for when that episode gets aired and released, because it was one of the most interesting, not in the best ways, but one of the most interesting tattoo experiences of my life, especially when it comes to traveling. Let's take a look at this place. This is a church inside Barga at the top of the mountain. Excuse me. I'm always chugging Mountain Dew, so I'm burping constantly. Again, art history major. Every place that we went to, we filmed in churches and basilicas to make sure we could get all the art captured. That's really where my expertise is in, besides tattooing, is in art. I watched an engineering video on how they build Venice, and it's really interesting. Tell me more. I don't want to force you to type out 45 paragraphs right now, but tell me more about what you saw and what you liked about it. Venice was one of the coolest places I've ever been. It's not for claustrophobic people, which I'm not, but I've had bouts. It's not for anxious people, which I am, and I have medication for. Venice is very congested. It is probably the most congested city. Let me rephrase that, because if I'm working on being a travel documentarian, I don't want to spit bullshit. Venice is one of the top most visited cities by tourists globally. It could be in the top 4. So if you're there on a Tuesday and you're just milling about, you could be shoulder to shoulder in the alleys bumping into people. There's no such thing as privacy in the city of Venice. Now, if you're there on a weekend during their carnival, forget it. It's not, you're not going to survive if you have any kind of claustrophobia or mania. But it was gorgeous for sure. I love Venice. I'll go back there. Again, if I had to move to any of the places that we visited to, I think I would start with Mexico City, because it's been my favorite so far. But Venice was definitely up there. If it was if logistics didn't matter, right? If it was, we could afford to go to any of these places, where do you want to go type thing, then I would probably say, yeah, let's live in Italy. Italy's great. Or, if it was unlimited budget, I'd live in Paris. It's my favorite city on the planet. Actually, let me jump back to my Paris video really quick and show you the rough, very rough, probably will be chopped up, but let me show you a little bit of the intro to our Paris episode, where I say it's my favorite place in the world. I'm gonna mute the captions because we don't need those right now. Go full screen to play this. "8 hours by plane might as well be 80. I have always longed to return to my favorite city on the planet. From the first sight, it captured me,
And I don't know if it's the paradigm-shattering feats of engineering, or the unmatched opulence, the classic beauty, or the centuried proof of devotion, but Paris is where it's at. I dare you to match its scenic beauty. I dare you to find another city where their Philharmonic Orchestra does a pop-up in the subway. I'm telling you, this is the fucking big leagues when it comes to cities, and they have fought tooth and nail to cement themselves in world history.
I've been around them in this area for a while. Have you seen a good amount of protest or rebellion in Paris?
Yeah. Every weekend?
Every
Yeah, every weekend something is happening.
In Paris, you got 2-3 marches every weekend. I don't even know what it's for. Like, yeah, just quit asking, because it's literally all the time. So it's very cultural.
At this intersection between Catholicism and capitalism, one can confess their sins, but only after visiting the gift shop. It's a place where lovers leave their litter, where artists leave their mark. A place where leaders erect monuments to themselves. This is Paris, my favorite city on the planet.
So yes, my favorite city on the planet. I am curious, and I will, we're new to this whole live streaming venture, so I don't expect any chats to fill up with 45 questions or anything like that. But I will say, I will check and scrub all the comments because I'm curious to see what you guys think. Like, what places would you love to live in? What places would you love us to visit? We're working on seeing the entire planet, so you tell me where you think we should go next. Let me see if I have anything from Paris that's hyper interesting. So tattoo interviews. One of my favorite locations in Paris is the Père Lachaise Cemetery. I've been to Paris 3 times over the course of 2 decades. And every single time I've gone, one of the things I visited was Père Lachaise Cemetery. Père Lachaise is a cemetery featuring a lot of notables. Oh, I'm going to mute that audio on that one. Featuring a lot of famous people, poets, and artists, and just famous Parisians. It's a very clustered cemetery. A lot of monuments next to each other. This is this is where Frédéric Chopin is buried. One of my favorite composers, Polish as well. There are a lot of people buried in Père Lachaise that are not even French. They just wanted to be buried in such a prestigious cemetery, essentially. Southeast Asia seems like a cool place to live or travel. So, Cougars, we have on my map behind us here pins of all the places that we have been to, the places we filmed, the places that we are already scheduled to film, and the places we'd like to go. Right now, I have in Southeast Asia particular, I have Jakarta, Indonesia, which is a place that I've wanted to go to for forever. Definitely interested in that. We have Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and that's it. That's pinned for Southeast Asia. But then we also have Osaka, Japan, and Seoul, South Korea, pinned up there. So hopefully we can get to those places. Let's check out Hong Kong and Thailand. Chopin rocks. He's my favorite composer. Hell yeah. They have those things where they say, like, if you could listen to one song before you die, what would it be? And it's one of Chopin's most famous nocturnes, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, Southeast Asia was first on my list, actually, for the place I want to go to travel to film, to produce, to tattoo. But also we don't have unlimited access to the planet, right? We can't just go anywhere whenever we want. So we had to be careful of curating our trip of where do we go to experience and to produce content, and also to just take in as human beings. Because if we find a way to or if we find ourselves falling in love with a place, we might want to end up there, right? Between my wife and I, we could not find in ourselves the ability to visualize living in Southeast Asia, but all the other reasons, Southeast Asia is on my list. So that was the first place I wanted to go to, but we couldn't picture the living there so much because we had been to Europe before. I've done South America, and we end up doing some, Central America places, but we could imagine living in those locations if we wanted to, right? So, yeah. This is back to raw footage of Paris now. Guess I could bring back the audio there. There's my old ass dad. This trip that we did to check out all these places, it was myself, my wife, our 2 children, and my parents. And here is us cracking a creme brulee.
It's ice cream.
And she thought it was ice cream. A little bit. And then I'm sure the next video after this is me cracking the top of a French onion soup. Yeah, can't beat that. I don't know what's more satisfying, the crack of a French onion soup or the crack of a creme brulee.
Oh my god.
So I think what I'm going to do here is do a quick intermission, and then we will load up the first episode of the show, which was Costa Rica. It is available on YouTube right now, but I can open up the actual file so we could scrub that and take a look if I got any additional bonus stories from there. So give me a quick second here. What do you got, Coopers? You said there's an old lady, I can't remember her name, but she does traditional tattooing in the mountains of Vietnam. I get told this all the time. People come to the studio and they tell me about how much they want to go to get tattooed by this lady who does this particular style. And she kind of like reads your vibe. And if you don't pass the vibe check, she isn't even going to tattoo you. And then if you do pass the vibe check, she's going to be like, you get what you get type thing. Not so much like, you don't get any choice in the matter. If that's who you're talking about, then yeah, I'm familiar. I hear about this lady constantly. Okay, give me a quick second, and then I'm going to load up this other video, and then we'll start tearing it down. This is Costa Rica. I think this is the file of the actual upload that went to YouTube. Costa Rica, a volcano-ridden paradise full of lush jungles, tranquil hot springs, cows escaping barbed wired fences, and mountaintop rental villas.
Everything people told me about coming here turned out to be true, including the fact that Costa Rica is the most expensive country in Central America to visit. They generate around $3.1 billion US per year from tourism alone, and this is for a country of only 5 million citizens. So why, with all that wealth brought here from expats and honeymooners and digital nomads, are the people of Costa Rica still living like this, behind razor wire, and under corrugated tin roofs?
Who has more money here? Is it the people who come to this country, or is it the people who live here? When I drive around, I see some very That looks so expensive looking accusatory. properties and some very poor looking properties. Why is that? Why is that?
We out here.
Hi, my name is Carlos. I travel, I tattoo, and I take it all in. One country at a time, one tattoo at a time. Travel is what inspires me. Tattooing is what guides me. This is how I interpret the world. This is the global canvas.
I want to document this place without exploiting it, but nowadays I don't even really know if that's possible. I can tell you we've been in Costa Rica for a month now, and I haven't used a single bill or coin of their local currency, the Costa Rica colones. Just tap, tap, tap. Tap to exist, tap to live. My phone, my credit card, whatever. As a business owner though, I know that those merchant services fees add up and that shit stings.
As you could probably tell, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
Cougars
cynical
is
and
definitely
skeptical
that
about a
type of
place that's
place.
beautiful, as I'm certain there is some
anywhere
bloated
that's beautiful
pimp
and
dragon
tropical,
hoarding
really,
all the
is
spoils
gonna
of this
be
tropical kingdom somewhere.
Exploited.
As a general rule, I like to support local businesses
By the
whenever
haves.
possible, but these are cash industries, and convenience does not cater to cash. At their heart, though, they are economies of self-determination and a kind of personal exceptionalism. I'm not interested in the ziplining or the resorts. To be honest, I want to meet the people who live a truly pure life here. I want to know where they come from and what lies ahead. And the only way I know how to do this is through my tattoo machine. But we'll get into that later.
Awesome.
First,
that tattoo.
Food. Now it's true, Costa Rica is not known for its delicacies.
Super funny.
And within a short drive around Guanacaste, one can find great home cooking, as well as absolute trash. But if you look in the right places, you'd be surprised by what's waiting just on the side of the road. Here, I found potato and chorizo dorados, seasoned yuca
This
fries,
place is
and
insane.
chocolate
We ate there like
churros.
4 times.
What more can one want out of life?
Little taco stand. Delicious in the art place.
And sure, there's
We were
flies
living up
everywhere
on top
buzzing
of like
around
a
your
mountain
food,
villa,
but that's the remarkable thing about the
down at the base
biodiversity of a
there's
place
also
like
little
this.
restaurants
I
and
mean, where else
places
in the
to
world can you see chickens
kick
and
it.
cows and monkeys and vultures and dinosaurs? Yes, literal
That's our
f***ing
homie Ralph.
dinosaurs scurrying through your backyard. As well as the occasional dumb, likely American tourist dumping a rented horse into a ditch. Only in paradise, my friends, where the ocean is powerful, the sunsets are gorgeous, literal f***ing dinosaurs scurrying through your
Alright, so I
backyard.
gotta take this back.
As well as the occasional dumb, likely
So we were out doing just some walking and filming B-roll footage, and my wife and I are walking down the beach. We're talking to each other, commenting about how choppy the waves are today, and how it must have been because it rained last night. Because sometimes, up in Michigan, if it rains hard, then the waves get a little bit choppier. And then I heard, and we're like, what? And we look over, and we heard this horse neighing, and we just saw this like semicircle of guys just staring at a drainage ditch. I was like, what the hell? And then they literally pulled this horse out.
American tourist dumping a rented horse into a ditch.
And dude, like, it was not good. It was not an awesome thing to see. And the horse seemed to be okay, but what do I know? Like, they were literally just getting on their horse to begin a ride around, the beach village or whatever, and just walked a horse directly into a ditch, essentially. So who knows?
Only
That
in
horse might be
paradise, my
gluten,
friends.
I'm not sure.
Where the ocean is powerful, the sunsets are gorgeous, and the scorpion repellent is always at the ready. The power goes out, and then it comes right back on. The sweat is profuse and the smiles endure. It's a place.
Oh, stopped it too soon. Come back. Show me Arturo.
The sweat is profuse.
Look how sweaty I look. I can't handle it. It's too hot out here. You should go somewhere colder. I need more face tattoos. I need to fill up this whole section right here.
And the smiles endure.
So yeah, there's Arturo. He the background of how I came to tattoo him was relatively simple and not that interesting. The tattoo studio that we went to interview some local tattooers, I asked him if they had anybody. Oh shit, you can't even see him on Instagram Live. Hold up. Let me shrink it there. All right, that should help. The tattooers just kind of lined up the tattoo for me. He wanted to get a tattoo of his girlfriend, which is like, ugh, okay, I don't want to do that, but I'll do it. And then it turned out everywhere we went after that, people wanted to get tattoos of their significant people in their family. Love your philosophy. Reminds me of favorite travel host, Anthony Bourdain. Let's show the heart of a place just through the food. No tourist BS or exploitation. Just showing a place how it is. Awesome day. I lived in Florida while growing up, and I can feel that humidity.
It's a place I don't want to take from.
It's definitely sticky.
Rather a place where I'd like to leave a little bit of myself behind. So today, I'm tattooing at Mudra Tattoo Shop in Playas del Coco.
Bourdain is
Mudra is co-owned by
you'll
artist
find
entrepreneurs
throughout what I'm
Esteban
doing
and
with this whole
Joshua,
adventure that Bourdain
a
is
couple of young
literally
tattooers
the
with
main
heart and
inspiration
passion for
all
our
this.
industry, as well as impressively sophisticated tattoos. Josh was
See, I
kind
grew
enough
up
to
watching
lend me
Anthony
his station
Bourdain
for the
as
day
well,
while I
and
tattoo
was
my
always
new client and
inspired
newer friend
by the,
Arturo Luna. Arturo is the owner and executive chef at
aspect of his
Steakhouse
food journeys,
Salefuego.
and that's kind of what this
Today,
is.
he's asked me to tattoo a Viking
About,
on
I'm
his
not
lower
ripping
leg.
them off necessarily.
Not just
maybe,
any
I don't
Viking,
know.
his
But,
girlfriend
I
is a
want
Viking.
to follow
Aw,
my
to be
tattoo
in
machine
paradise
and see
and
where
in
that
love.
takes me and what I can learn
When in
about
Costa
the
Rica,
world. Because
right?
right now, my entire universe is just tattooing.
Now, I've
people.
tattooed around the world in different
And,
shots with differing standards
how
of
I
cleanliness, and I always do my
learn about
best
the
to represent
universe.
the standards with
Just
which I was
asking
brought
people
up,
questions and
but without being
making
condescending to
connections
the
and
local
whatnot,
artists. Having
If I
said
could do
that,
globally,
the guys at
that's
Mudra
the whole-
keep a pretty
the
clean
whole game
ship,
right there.
and for that I am thankful.
How long have you been in the restaurant business?
Coopers, what's crazy right
Mi
now
restaurant?
is I have my
Yes,
live
your
streaming set up. Let me turn down the
¿Cuántos años?
turn that down for a second. I have my live streaming set up right now so that we can chat. But on my streaming software, it's showing me that the YouTube, or I'm sorry, the Instagram live feed has my camera on me, but you can't see my face. I'm sitting here chatting the whole time and you can't see my face. I gotta figure that one out. Over on the YouTube side, everything looks good.
Do you feed mostly local people or do you feed tourists more?
No, nuestra clientela, el 80% es americanos y canadienses y europeos. Y el 10% es local y el otro 10% es nacional. Así que la mayor cantidad de clientes de mi restaurante son extranjeros, pero todos son siempre bienvenidos. Bueno, solo quiero decirte que eres excelente, tienes una excelente mano para tatuar. Me he tatuado varios en mi cuerpo y de los tatuadores que he tenido han sido muy buenos, pero realmente el nivel de trabajo que has hecho y la mano en la cual haces tu trabajo tiene muy buena función, así que no sentí mucho dolor y es un tatuaje realmente hermoso y grande.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm not really good at taking compliments, so I really, really appreciate it.
So, when I drive around, I see some very expensive looking properties and some very poor looking properties. Why is that? What's the difference?
Guanacaste ha tenido un crecimiento muy alto de muchos años, 20, 30 años atrás, en el cual muchas tierras se han vendido a extranjeros que han venido a invertir.
Right on, Coops. It might make it a little bit easier. Well, we shall see. The obligatory make sure to give us a like and a subscribe to follow along, all that. But thanks for switching over. Hey, there it is. Subbed up. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, this streaming software is new to me, and I had to use some third-party plugins to try to get the Instagram live stream to hook up. So it's a little funky and glitchy on the YouTube live end, but I'm sorry, on the Instagram live end, but the YouTube should be good.
La playa te hace feliz. Así que es normal. Es normal en todos los países y Costa Rica y Guanacaste tiene un alto crecimiento de muchas casas, de muchos millones de colones. Mucha gente famosa quiere vivir en Guanacaste.
Pura vida. Is it just to sell t-shirts and coffee mugs?
Pura vida es una palabra prácticamente desde que nacemos en Costa Rica. Así que pura vida es como el gallo pinto. El pura vida es como ir a jugar a la plaza de fútbol cuando era
This
uno
dude
niño.
is
¿Qué
so
pura vida?
genuine.
Y
And everybody I met while I was there, I didn't meet a single fake person in Costa Rica. Like a lot of the times, whenever you visit South America, Central America, it's like the most honest human beings that you've ever met. Not like Americans that are mostly artifice. It feels like.
nos atrae a muchos años atrás también, porque es una palabra de hace muchos años, y pura vida es felicidad. Realmente somos un país feliz, definitivamente. Yo personalmente me siento muy feliz. Pura vida.
I'm going to pause this right here. When we were filming, we had a very modest setup, if you will, because we didn't even know in Costa Rica that we were going to be filming a tattoo travel program in Costa Rica. We got to Costa Rica for a 1 month vacay, essentially. And while we were there, we came up with the idea to do the show, because I've always been a fan of travel. I like chatting with people and learning about people, right? So that ended up putting us here. So when we were in Costa Rica, I had to come back to America to do some tattooing for a week, halfway through that 1 month trip. And then I packed up all the audio equipment I had and brought it back with me to Costa Rica, and then did the video, the interview portions while I was back in Costa Rica. Well, we had a pretty modest setup. I had actually this mic right here. It's a Shure SM7B. I had my little portable audio interface that I could pass the mic through to the laptop to record, blah, blah, blah. We didn't have a crew. We didn't have boom mic operators. We didn't have gaffers, grips, anything like that. It was just myself, my wife, and our phones and our modest setup, right? So in this interview right here, I'm holding this microphone under the shot of the camera, so it's not in the camera, but I'm holding it at like waist level. So this looks like I'm just pointing grabbing my junk the entire time we're interviewing. And I'm just like
Pura vida.
watching, talking, laughing, emoting, while my hand is just below the camera, like, yeah. But it's really literally just because I'm holding a microphone down there.
Nos atrae a muchos años atrás también, porque es una palabra de hace muchos años, y pura vida es felicidad. Realmente somos un país.
Yeah, Coobs. I ran into a few.
Yo personalmente
that's cool. Sometimes it's hard to travel as an American because we have a reputation abroad. I ran into a few instances while we were abroad of that.
Later,
but not
I was able to
enough
sit down with
really
Esteban and Joshua and ask them a little bit about the industry of tattooing.
In this location for 1 year and a couple of months.
I feel like we deserve it
And
when
it's
we go
been
places and get that
worth
kind of
it. It's
treatment.
been good.
But I will say that
Is this permanent? Yeah, I think that
it wasn't
Coco
too
is
bad.
like
It didn't really
you know,
feel
like
much.
and
With
they're
the exception of
really
Greece,
comfortable with this
I've never been
location.
physically.
Is this the same Costa Rica you were at as a kid? Not really. No? What's different? A lot of things, like both good and bad. I think like infrastructure and development. Are you guys tired of Americans coming here and spending money? No. No? Americans love. As long as you don't do anything like cheating, you know, you're almost welcome. We were talking when we were driving around of like, these places are beautiful, but they don't want us to buy these houses. That's the whole topic. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. We can or we don't have to talk about it. It's okay. Do you think tattooing is accepted here, or is it still?
So these two dudes, Esteban and Joshua, they just run this tattoo studio, like all of us do. I don't know why that's seems like it's remarkable for some reason to me that they run a tattoo studio. But they just run this tattoo studio in Costa Rica, and they're just living their lives, doing their thing. And we explored, we drove around looking at tattoo places, and this one was in Playas del Coco up by, it's a beach essentially, and it's a pretty frequented beach area. And they have like, I don't know if you guys know about the parking lot mafia in Costa Rica. It's essentially like people who will offer you parking spots. Like, here, park right here. And then you get there, and then they want some money, like it's paid parking type of thing. But really what you're paying for is the protection of your car while you're there. Because if you park there without giving them the money, when you come back, your windows are going to be busted up. And not by like local hoods that are trying to break in and steal your radio. It's just the guys who would have gotten the $5 or $10 from you are now going to bust your car up. That's just how they make their money. So anyway, it was like that type of beach community that also had like the parking lot mafia thing going on. And then you walk into the studio, and it's just amazing. And there's not flash, but like stencils all over the wall, and two artists that are just killing it, living their life, doing their thing. And I feel like that on this map on the wall behind me, if you threw a dart anywhere and then zoomed in, you could find 15 tattoo studios. It's just everywhere. Like this whole culture has turned into an industry, and this industry is like spread like the plague across the world. I love it. I can't get over it.
Underground well, no, it's been pretty well accepted. Back in the day, when I was like a teenager, like 15 years ago, was still like getting there. But I think now it's like completely accepted. Everywhere in the world, people are tattooed. Nobody owns tattooing. But do you think it was because of the culture here likes it and is accepting and it's normal, or do you think it's because a lot of tattoo people come?
So Coobs said, I visited family in Joburg, South Africa, and had to keep telling them to stop telling people that we were American. It's a gorgeous country, especially in the Drakensberg Mountains. Worth a visit for sure. We have on our map for our next jaunt that begins in 2026, Cape Town, South Africa is in there. I will note this here, and I will make sure to add it to the list. How much traveling have you done? Have you done a lot of travel? Kind of sounds like it.
I'm not an old school tattooer. I've only been doing it for about 15 years. But even 15 years ago, people were still holding on to secrets. They weren't trying to help other people out. Tattooers saw every other tattooer as their competition. Do you have anything that you would like to ask me or us before we tear down?
What is your impression from the tattooing in Costa Rica? What were your...
Esteban was so good on camera.
You came here. I've tattooed outside.
His like we had like from the second we met each other, we hit it off great.
A lot of the same styles of tattooing, believe it or not, everywhere. I was just in the Middle East, and they're doing the cyber sigillism, and I'm here in Costa Rica, and I see a lot of neo-tradition. So my expectations were standard tattoos.
I want to show you something really quick. So I have the audio on this track here.
My expectations were standard tattoos.
That was the sorry, the music. But let me mute both of these. I'll mute the music. I'll mute the mixed audio dialogue. If I go back to the original dialogue or the original audio on here,
that looked like everywhere.
Listen to how like crappy the background audio is on here.
My expectations were standard tattoos that look like everywhere else. What I see on your walls is much better, and that is very...
Like you could straight up hear like the radio from the place next door, and like people shuffling around.
My expectations were standard tattoos that look like everywhere else.
If you listen close enough, you'll probably hear my wife and my daughter.
Is much better, and that is very...
More likely my daughter being crazy and my wife telling her to chill out. So then we had to do all of the audio editing possible to mix it to make it sound like this.
My expectations were standard tattoos that look like everywhere else.
So we were able to piece out like some clarity, and then we had to add the music to mask out the rest of the background to get to this.
My expectations were standard tattoos that look like everywhere else. What I see on the walls is much better, and that is very inspiring. So I definitely am impressed.
So Coobs, not a ton. Canada, Mexico, South Africa, more than 2/3 of the U.S. Awesome. I definitely want to do. We're doing it's in our notes here, a U.S. run. I'm actually going out and I'm filming a Detroit episode for like our hometown and probably our season finale. And it's either going to be the United States will be its own episode, or we'll do an episode for each city that we visit in the U.S. But I have a few cities pinned down, but I'm actually going out to Los Angeles in 3 weeks to get tattooed and to do some filming out there too. If I put pins in every state that I've been to into the U.S., you wouldn't be able to see the map anymore because I've just been traveling the U.S. for my whole life. But what else do you say? As soon as I pay off my house, I'll do a lot more travel. Malta will be first. Love to do more travel photography. I mostly do photography locally. Oh, and thank you for the compliment on the editing. We did the best we could with what we had, and it only gets better. So after we filmed this Costa Rica episode, we learned we like this. So then we filmed Mexico City intentionally. And then after we did that episode, we're like, okay, now let's lean in and produce a show. So then we came back to the U.S., bought some more equipment, and then went over to do France, Spain, Italy, Greece, Poland, Egypt. So yeah, so that was that first episode. Early Gecko. Let me tell you about Early Gecko really quick. So the entire time we were in Costa Rica, we had geckos like all over our villa that we were staying at, and we would see them mostly at nighttime, but sometimes they would come out at dusk, and my kids were referring to them as the early geckos. And then we started getting excited every day to look for early geckos, so then we decided to call our production company Early Gecko. And she drew a picture that Kennedy, my oldest, drew a picture that says Neon Early Gecko with the little gecko on there in her styling. So yeah, like I said, we did the best we could with the edit. So moving forward, from Paris onward, the quality just keeps getting better and better. And then working with a producer now to produce the next run of videos, and it should only keep getting better and better. And we're going to take this thing as far as we possibly can. We'll try to get some investors and really get this whole empire built up so I can use tattooing to show off the rest of the planet. Thank you so much, Coobs. Straight up, for real, please swing by the studio so we can chat about cool stuff. And I'm going to wrap up for right now so that I can get on to my next things. We only had a couple people tuning in during this live stream because, like I said, it's a brand new channel, brand new to this stuff. But it is going to pick up and move from here, and we will get more interest as time moves on. So if you would like to help out, you could do the like, you could do the subscribe on this video. And if you want to follow everything that we're up to on like a day-to-day basis, I'm on Instagram here at St. Carlos. And if you're watching our videos, and if you're watching live, you'll be able to see when you give us a follow, the number will automatically update on there so you can see where we're at on Instagram followers. Coobs, I got lucky. My first tattoo is by Justin Hartman. He's in San Diego and does mostly Neotrad. That name sounds very familiar. Let me pull him up really quick on my IG and see if I know who that is. Oh, goodness, yes. Yeah, this dude's killer. Killer. Yeah, I'm going to get tattooed again by a dude named Dean. On Instagram, he goes by 7th Dean. He's the one that tattooed my sideburns, and I'm going to have him fill out the rest of my underjaw here. And let me see. Let me go to another camera here. Essentially, like all of this section, we're going to have him do all of that. And we'll film as much as we can of it, and I'll probably throw up and die, and it'll be worth it because every tattoo's worth it. Doesn't matter how it feels. But sick, man. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for... Oh, he got it before he blew up. Tight. Get in with those friend prices before they increase. I look forward to hanging out with you again, Coobs. I look forward to seeing everybody else. Like, subscribe, follow, and let's get this little clicker over here up to 5,000. All right, thanks. Peace.